Celtics in action. That's Marcus Smart. How do you think Game Time logo would look in my hair? Not good?
I think that's a good teammate.
I have enough.
If you do that.
Kyrie, after missing 2 with the left eye, returns. And the Nets get at it. But so does Kyrie. Easy. Nice find from Smart. Lead 5. Off the turnover, some work from Jason Tatum going the other way. Zeke, how about Tatum here after all that he did last year and trying to follow that up?
I think he's having a good second year. However, the expectations of being better than you were the first year, that's always going to be tough for that second-year player because, his name is on the board. But I like the way he's handled it and the way he's come out, and he's having a good second year.
Scary Terry, the lay-in, lead 11. Nets get back in it. They always seem to do that. Kenny Atkinson's club plays hard. Shabazz Napier, the 3. How about Jared Allen? Speaking of hair. Napier at 10 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, and then some work, Candace, from Kyrie here.
Well, Kyrie, obviously, finishing ability. Oof. He has multiple ways he can finish around the basket and not giving up a lot of size at that.
Nice look. Daniel Tice there for the dunk. Kyrie 17, 6, and 3 steals. And then Scary Terry, open. He had 10. I love this kid in college. Robert Williams, you want to talk about athleticism and throwing it down at Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah.
This dude can get up.
Not only can he get up, but his shot blocking ability is untimely. He has great timing. Most people, they can block, with one hand. He get it left hand and right hand.
All right, Celtics get a win, 116-95. The final.
And Clemson just scored again?
Yes, but we're not watching.
Yeah.
Detroit basketball. Dwayne Casey and DeMar DeRozan reunited. Spurs get Blake and the Pistons. He'll want to watch this in the iPad. 3, and a timeout from Pop. Some work to be done. And then the tag team partner inside. How about Drummond continuing to grow as a player and get better?
Well, I think Blake has helped that development. It's allowed Drummond to push Drummond to stay, obviously near the basket. Blake makes him better by assisting him. He moves without the ball well. He's really improved this year.
I also think the little back and forth between him and Embiid has also, made him up his game a little bit too.
DeMar DeRozan upping his game. By the way, not good to have a 20-2 run if you're the other team. That's what happened here. DeRozan had 11, lead 12. They outscored the Pistons 34-20 in the second quarter. Patty Mills lead 8 at the break. Then more. Blake Griffin, Zeke, showing the crossover.
Yeah, the thing that we didn't know about Blake when he came into the league, he didn't have these kind of handles, and you always wondered, what was his work ethic like. But now Blake really has everything. So every year he's added something new to his game to make him better.
DeRozan inside the lane. Goody had 26, 7 boards, 9 assists, lead 12. L.A., LaMarcus Aldridge closing it out. Little Tim Duncan bank shot. Hezzy. And a lay-in. He had 25. Gregg Popovich ties Jerry Sloan, 3rd most wins in NBA history. Yet another.
All he does is win, 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 win.
And DJ Khaled is looking for his royalties. Meanwhile, saving us, here's DeMar DeRozan.
What was it like to go against your old coach? Was it a little weird?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Playing with him for the majority of my career to go out here competing against him. It's always fun, but it was definitely weird.
That's the question I had for him. Your mindset going into the month of January had to be different. You got your former team and your former coach all in a matter of, about a week here?
Oh, yeah. It's exciting. You got to get up for moments like that to be able to compete, see guys on the other side, and, go out there and kind of be on the opposite sides and kind of talking trash and try to get some brownie points on your end.
Talk about some of the no calls that you're getting right now, because it seems to me that you've had that pull through, the little Euro step, and you've been getting raked across your arms a few times. Has Pop said anything to you about those situations to keep playing through them?
Just keep going. Just keep going. It's going to turn when need be. Just still be aggressive. Don't let that deter me away from my aggressiveness. And, it'll definitely come.
Are you actively, at the beginning of games, it seems to me like you're trying to get the other guys involved first, and then you're starting to look for your shot secondly?
Oh, yeah, I always know when I can get my shot off, when I can kind of pick up my aggressiveness. But it's all about getting them other guys going, having them have a rhythm, because they open up and make my game a lot easier.
Well, DeMar, this is the 5th game in a row the team has won, the longest winning streak of the year. Nice to get it on the road, just the 7th road win. You guys have been closing the gap recently. You had a big one out at L.A. What's been the difference with the team's better play away from home?
We're more conscious of it, understanding it's just us when we go on the road. We got to generate our own energy, and that's what we've been doing, trying to come out, be aggressive, not really get caught up into the crowd or the referees or whatever they got going on. Make it all about us, understanding what we need to do when we're out there on the court.
Also seemed to be a big emphasis in the rebounding game tonight, because that has been a problem in the last couple of losses on the road.
For sure, especially coming out battling against, Drummond and Griffin tonight, you definitely got to be conscious of trying to get them rebounds. And we always at our best when we're able to rebound and get out in transition and play.
What can you say? I mean, forget about just from a basketball standpoint, one of the greatest coaches in the 4 major sports of all time, and Gregg Popovich, who continues to go up the list. And we sit here, Zeke, and it's like every year, I always say this when Smitty is sitting here, because he played for every year, is this the best job that he's done? They got off to, with all the injuries, a great start. And to me, we said that, but now I'm more impressed, because they look like they were going totally the other way. Outmatched, overmatched. Their leading scorer was Jakob Poeltl. Nothing wrong with that Poeltl family, but not a Spurs team we know of. And then they somehow found a way to get back off the mat yet again and be right back in the mix.
I said this earlier about he and Doc Rivers this year. I think they're having the most fun coaching this year than they've had in the previous years, because in previous years they had guys that knew the system, understood how to play, what to do, so forth and so on. Now this year they really get a chance to coach again, right? They get a chance to teach, they get a chance to direct, they get a chance to take a young player and grow him. And that's really exciting for the coaches. And I marvel at Pop's stamina over the years, that he's been able to night in and night out show up without, game soreness, without taking the night off.
General soreness.
And just showing up every night for his team.
Yes, there's the general that Shaq knows, and then there's General Soreness, which is in Philadelphia. We've got more coming up. Speaking of issues, how about Minnesota?
Man up.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, where are you at? This show should be on Bravo.
The Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Utah Jazz. That game's going to be on NBA League Pass just minutes from now. The Jazz have won 2 in a row, both on the road, 3 of their last 4 overall. Meanwhile, the Bucks are coming off a loss. They haven't lost consecutive games this season, a perfect 10-0 following a loss. Let's hear Coach Quinn Snyder with Craig Bolerjack prior to the game.
This is game number 41 tonight. What's your thought?
Well, it's hard to believe. We were walking on just coming to practice and walking on the street today, and you still see some Christmas decorations, and Christmas seems like it was 2 months ago. So it's happened fast, and we're growing. I think we're a better team now than when we started the year, and that's, to me, I know, you'd love for the record to. I think you always want the record to be better. Right. But I think as we continue to play, and tonight and the next game and beyond, if we can continue to improve, that'll serve us well.
Speaking of getting better, let me take you back to Detroit, because you were down 18, but a dynamic second half, offensively and defensively. You guys are very active, and Donovan seemed to be the guy that led the charge. Yeah,
really, and you mentioned Donovan in the second half, and he certainly did. I think in the second quarter, really, when Dante and Tabo were in the game, the way those 2 guys played, and it was tough to see both of them, take an injury, because those 2 guys, you could really feel. Tabo played the rest of the second quarter. Dante had like 5 assists in 6 minutes, and hard to lose them in that game. And would have also been really easy with those 2 guys playing well for the rest of the team to kind of let up, and that didn't happen. And Donovan, as much or more than anyone, really midway through the third quarter, he came back in and he really dug in defensively, and I think he just the game just started kind of unfolding for him, and he was instinctive, and he was really good.
Yeah, he really was. Coach, finally, we're in Milwaukee, which is the home of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And when you speak of him, I mean, just one word pops up. It's just unique.
Yeah.
Maybe you have more.
Terrific, yeah. There's a lot of superlatives that you can use to describe him. And Bud's done an unbelievable job, you know, helping him bring all those talents out kind of exponentially. But some of the statistics that you see that are unique, nobody's scored more in the paint since Shaq. So you look at a guy and, you know, he's basically a modern day Shaq. He's not doing it with post-ups all the time. He's doing it more off, you know, dribble penetration and transition. But he's a really unique player, and that makes it's hard because he's so good, but it's also hard because he's so different.
Coach Snyder also mentioned Dante Exum's ankle injury. He's reportedly going to be out for the next 2 weeks. So before I ask you about their matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks, I want to ask why the slow start for the Utah Jazz, a young team that we were expecting to see take a big jump at the start of this season.
I think a couple of things that jump out at me. When you look at their record right now, they've played 16 home games. They've played 24 away games, and here they are in Milwaukee again tonight. And the fact that they have a 20-20 record, just a game and a half out of the playoffs in the Western Conference, I think says a whole lot. The same thing is Donovan Mitchell didn't start out the season the same way that he finished up last season. But so did a couple other guys in the league that we've talked about tonight. Didn't start out great, like James Harden, but he's on fire right now. So if Donovan Mitchell gets back to the form that we saw last year, where he was just simply sensational, and then a couple of these nagging little injuries where guys miss 3, 4, 5 games, you couple that with a brutal schedule, this team's in a great spot to make a run in the second half of the season.
Let me ask you, Kevin, because you and I talk a lot about these young players who the team tends to, well, the league tends to figure out in their sophomore season. Do you think that that's the case here with Donovan?
No question. When you take the league by storm like Mitchell did, especially the second half of last year, everybody now, you're the number one guy in the scouting report. So the coach stands in front of the group in the morning before the game and says, this is how we're stopping Donovan Mitchell. I'm putting my best defenders on him. I'm forcing him left. He likes to pull up. Whatever your tendencies are, they say we're taking your favorite tendency away, making you play your weaknesses, not your strength. And as a young player in this league, it's like a chess match. You start off with the same opening in your chess match 5, 6 times in a row. Finally, the guy says, you're not doing that. You're not beating me with that. You have to change up. I've told this story before. I remember the first time I played in a playoff series against really talented players that were really smart, were Kyle Jones and Bobby Jones, and they played for Philadelphia 76ers. So I had the move where I'd fake left, turn around, fade away, jump shot. Hell, Bobby Jones jumped before I did. He blocked it. I mean, I hadn't had anybody block that shot, so I don't know when. And I was like, dang, like I got to come up with plan B here. They made you play to plan B. They took away your favorite move, and that made me a better player. And I said that Donovan Mitchell earlier this year was going to look at film. Quinn's a really good coach, Snyder. He's going to figure out what the defenders are doing to him, and he's good enough that he'll go to plan B and C and get counters. So I think it's a tough schedule, like Mike said. And then I think it's just, Donovan, the league caught up to him. Now he's figuring out what they're doing, and he's making the next jump. So it's just, you're always doing this as a young player, and you're trying to get here. You do this all the way up, and he's just on his just stages of growing up that ladder.
And they're taking on a Milwaukee Bucks team that's sitting